Hi Pot Gang, it's Kate here, and we're just doing a little check-in to see how the plants from December's box are getting on. So you can see I've got the chocolate chilli here, the orange peppers and the rosemary. My chilies are quite small, as you can see. These ones actually haven't come up at all, and these are quite far behind. So Candice, for example, has already potted hers onto the next stage. Mine are nowhere near ready to do that. But it just goes to show that even though we plant things at the same time, everyone's kind of growing process is different. There's no wrong or right. It's just, there's no science really to this. It's just, it'll do what it's going to do. So just to be reassured, if yours are still tiny or not even germinated yet, that's perfectly normal. So the peppers are slightly bigger, but they're still, I would say, probably still too tender to pot on. So I'm just going to keep them growing on a nice sunny spot inside for a few more weeks to see how they get on. When you do get ready to pot on, you can start putting your pots outside. So just check in your region when the last frost is. It varies from wherever you live. So just check when the last frost is and make sure that up until that point, if you are putting them outside, you bring them back in during the night. So leave them out for a couple of hours if you get a nice sunny day, but bring them back in at night. And that way it's called hardening off, and you'll get your plants used to being outside for the long term. So just a quick note about watering. Now that they've sprouted, you won't have to water them quite so often. Maybe twice a week. The best thing to do, we found works quite well, is actually once they've sprouted, if you just wait for the compost to almost dry out completely and then water them again, that means you'll ensure that you don't overwater. So as you can see, Romeo Rosemary is actually doing really well. I think we're just about ready to go on to the next stage. So what you can do, you've got two options really. If you don't have that many seedlings and you've got a few really obviously strong ones, you can weed out the weaker ones and leave the strong ones in the pot. Again, the weaker ones, you don't have to throw them away. You can just replant them and wait for them to catch up. Or what I'm going to do is, because I've got quite a lot of strong ones, I'm just going to pick about 4 of the strongest ones and put them into a new pot and leave the other ones to catch up. So they're not all that robust, so you do need to be careful when you're repotting them. I take like a blunt knife, like a butter knife, and then if you just dig down, make sure you get the roots. Just choose the ones you think are the longest and really do need potting on. Then again, just make a hole in your pot that's filled to the top, and then pop them in and try and fill them up to just below that first set of leaves. So we're looking to put probably about 4 into a pot this size. So again, we'll just go in, hopefully. Well, these are actually quite dense now. Make sure you get those roots. They've got lovely long roots at this stage. So I might need to just make those holes a little bit deeper so that we can get all the roots in nicely. Pop them up almost to the top of that first set of leaves, like that. Let's just grab one more. There we go. So again, if your compost is dry, just give it a quick water. Mine again is quite damp, so I'm going to leave it. And that's ready to go on a nice sunny windowsill, if you're lucky enough to have a sunny windowsill. So with watering, you'll need to water Romeo probably about twice a week, something like that. Again, just check the top of the compost, check it's not too damp. Almost let it dry out. The herbs prefer to be drier rather than waterlogged. So if you let the compost almost get to the point of drying out, then is a good time to water. And we can check in on them in a few weeks' time.